Good day, everybody, and this is part 2 from our video from yesterday, listing every single state and which states are sending additional stimulus checks at the state level and various stimulus programs that are happening at the state level. Now, in our previous video, we got about halfway and we ended on Maine. Now we're going to finish the rest of the states, and we're going to go through every single state, whether or not your state is doing stimulus. Now, we're running through these in alphabetical order, so we already did A through L. If your state falls into one of those states, watch my previous video and those states are listed there. So let's discuss the details, but before we jump into it, do me a huge favor, like this video, hit subscribe, and share this content with everybody who you think might find this helpful. I also have a second channel. If you could please subscribe to that one, the link is in the description of this video. And on that channel, we do news updates as well, but we also do fun things like play bingo, play the lottery, play slot machines and other casino games, things like that to have some fun. And I'm also planning on sending out a stimulus check to a couple of lucky winners on that channel as well. So the link to that channel is in the description of this video. Please subscribe to that. I truly do appreciate your support. Okay, so before we jump into stimulus checks at the state level, let's do a quick update on daily trending news. Now, first of all, today, October 18th, is National Chocolate Cupcake Day. So go out and get yourself a chocolate cupcake and let me know in the comments, what is your favorite flavor cupcake? Is it chocolate? Is it vanilla? Let me know in the comments below. Now, also trending is that Colin Powell unfortunately has passed away. Now, one of the great things about Colin Powell is that although he mostly identified as a Republican, he did consider himself a moderate and actually voted in both directions. Sometimes he voted for Democrat, sometimes he voted for Republicans. And he was known for mainly doing what was best for the American people. And no matter if it was Democrats or Republicans in office, he was always trying to work in a bipartisan fashion to get done what was best for the American people, which is something that we're lacking right now in Congress. With Democrats and Republicans being so divided, someone like Colin Powell is what we need in Congress to bring both sides together to do what's best for the American people. Now, let's quickly watch this video from Fox News describing the fact that Colin Powell was a patriot. He always did what was best for the American people, and the fact that he tended to work well with both sides. So let's quickly watch this clip, then we'll jump right into which states are doing stimulus programs at the state level.
We also have Harold Ford Jr. He's a former Democratic Tennessee congressman. Great to have you. I know that you are close with the family, and maybe you could give us some reflections about him, maybe behind the scenes, the Colin Powell that we didn't get to see every day.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. My prayers also go out, as they did from Brett and from General Keene, to Mrs. Powell, to Linda and Ann, and to Michael, and to all the grandkids. You can only echo what both Brett and General Keene, who I thought summed it up so well. I'd add just one word. General Powell soared above the politics of matters. As Brett said, we didn't know if he were a Democrat or Republican, or his politics may have become unclear, but what was unmistakably clear was his patriotism. What was without doubt was how much he contributed to and made the public space better, not because he was partisan, but because he tried to make things better. He endeavored to make things better. I think presidents of both parties, he served in a Democrat and Republicans, most identified with Republicans, but unafraid and so willing to give counsel to Democrat, Republican alike, because foremost in his mind was protecting the country. I was always struck when he talked about how he got involved and how he became interested in the military when he was in college and learned of the ROTC and realized it was something he liked, and he also said something he was good at. Boy, was he not knowing how much he would be good at it throughout his life. He never let slights or injustices that came towards him deter him from his pursuit of solutions or truth. He never allowed the moment, no matter how big it might have been in terms of the politics around something, to discourage him, again, from trying his hardest to do what was right. And all of that has been instilled in his kids, his grandkids. I'll let them speak on this when the time is right, but I know it is hurtful to them and painful to them. and they should know that we as a nation grieve, because I think the words that have been spoken in a day, and I thought earlier today you were so good on one of the morning shows as you talked about counsel and advice he gave you and his observations about leaders around the globe and how foreign policy leaders and American politicians should think about and view leaders that we deal with and diplomats that we are confronted with having to sit down with to try to hammer out solutions and hammer out diplomatic solutions. But one of his great passions later in life was his nonprofit work, his philanthropic work. And he cared so deeply about trying to help young kids, particularly black kids, graduate from high school. He and Mrs. Powell dedicated a big part of their lives to finding solutions,
So just so sad, guys, to see that Colin Powell has passed away, and it was from complications from the pandemic, from COVID-19. So our thoughts go out to the Colin Powell family, and just really nice to see that he really did work in a bipartisan fashion, which again is something that we could really use in Congress right now, especially as we're trying to get our government to take care of our seniors and to take care of those who are disabled. I've said it over and over on this channel. The purpose of this channel is to be a voice for seniors and a voice for those who are disabled, as our government has promised over and over again to take care of seniors and take care of those who are disabled, but they are taking way too long to deliver on these promises. Now, on a national level, Democrats are working on the next two stimulus packages, and Bernie Sanders is trying to include a $1,000 check for seniors, and we do expect this to extend to SSI and SSDI as well. Then we have groups trying to actually increase that to $1,400, which would apply to everybody who's on Social Security benefits. This is still being negotiated, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, as far as state-level stimulus checks, on our previous video yesterday, we talked about the fact that some states are doing as big as a $2,000 stimulus check. The biggest one so far on this list was Arizona. Arizona is doing a $2,000 stimulus check for anyone who's on unemployment and goes back to work for a full-time job, and $1,000 for anyone who goes off unemployment and accepts a part-time job. In that video, we got down to Maine. So let's scroll down, and if you're from one of these states that we covered yesterday, again, just watch that video from yesterday. I go through every single state one by one. Now, Maine. Currently, Maine does not have another stimulus program in the works, but there are always new things coming out, so if you're from Maine, please subscribe, and I'll keep you posted if anything develops. Maryland. All state and local taxes on unemployment benefits have been repealed, and stimulus payments of $500 for families and $300 for individuals who filed for the Earned Income Tax Credit were also passed in the legislation. So basically what this is saying here is that the state tax that was paid on unemployment is being canceled. So if you're from Maryland and you were on unemployment last year, you paid state taxes on those benefits. Now this stimulus package removes those taxes, meaning that you're going to get that money back as a stimulus check, and the average person is getting between $400 and $500. Now they're also doing an additional stimulus payment for those who are eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit. Now generally most people that make about less than $20,000 per year qualify for this credit as long as they worked and had earned income. Now if you're single, you're going to get a $300 stimulus check, and if you're a married couple, you will be getting $500. So that is the stimulus happening at the state level in Maryland. Next is Massachusetts. It seems that Massachusetts does not have another stimulus plan coming in the works, but they have provided a lot of funding for affordable housing. So unfortunately, no stimulus checks coming in Massachusetts, but there has been a lot of funds set aside for affordable housing. So contact your local housing authority and they should help you receive funds to help pay your rents. Michigan. In a bid to boost the locals' economic situation in Michigan, the state has started to send $500 hazard pay bonuses to their teachers. So all teachers who have worked throughout the pandemic in Michigan will be getting an additional $500 payment, which is a stimulus check, basically a hazard pay payment for having worked throughout the pandemic. So that is in Michigan. Now, as far as stimulus in Minnesota, it seems that over 100,000 people in Minnesota qualified for stimulus checks, but never got their first $1,200 check. So they're actually calling these people one by one, trying to inform them that they do qualify for that stimulus check. So if you're from Minnesota and you never received that first stimulus check but you think you might have qualified, go to irs.gov and make sure you claim your stimulus check. Now, Mississippi. Mississippi was one of the first states where the unemployment benefits ended early, and there are currently no plans for more stimulus payments. This is one of the states where a fresh round of payments looks unlikely, yet there are increasing calls for more money to be distributed to citizens in Mississippi. Now, currently in Mississippi, it looks as though there is no plans for more stimulus, but the citizens that live there are protesting and trying to get more stimulus done. So again, if you're from Mississippi, I'll keep you posted if anything develops. Now, Missouri stimulus. Missouri families in the low-income category who are unemployed as a result of the pandemic are now entitled to a temporary child care subsidy benefit for up to 60 days while they look for work. So this is a stimulus that will essentially help you pay for childcare in Missouri. Now, Montana stimulus. Montana does not seem to be doing more stimulus programs, but they are using the money that they received from the last stimulus package to rebuild water, sewer, and street projects, which hopefully will create good-paying jobs for the people in Montana. Now, Nebraska stimulus. The American Rescue Plan allocated over $1 million to the state of Nebraska, although there has been no update in the last month on whether or not they're going to approve more stimulus. See, the last stimulus package at the national level gave states millions, if not billions of dollars to use that money and approve more stimulus at the state level. And it looks like Nebraska still has over $1 million left, and they still have not decided exactly how they're going to use those funds. So again, no plans yet for more stimulus in Nebraska, but they do still have funds left, so it's possible that Nebraska could approve more stimulus. Nevada stimulus. Currently, no plans for more stimulus checks at the state level in Nevada, but one thing experts are saying is that the previous stimulus checks actually genuinely stimulated the economy in Nevada because a lot of people use their stimulus checks to go to the casinos and go to the restaurants and things like that. So, I mean, honestly, the stimulus checks, they're called stimulus checks because the purpose is not only to help the American people, but also to stimulate the economy. And because they've been shown to stimulate the economy, especially in Nevada, there is a lot of experts saying that we should have another stimulus in Nevada because it genuinely stimulates their economy. But for now, no stimulus plans in Nevada. New Hampshire. An American family of 3 with no income in New Hampshire receives a grant worth of $1,086 per month. It seems as though New Hampshire is approving grants for those who have no income or low income, but you'll have to contact your local government at the county level to see how you can apply. New Jersey stimulus. New Jersey approved a 4th round of stimulus checks at the state level, which came in the form of a $500 tax rebate. So if you're from New Jersey, you should have already received that $500 stimulus check. New Mexico stimulus. The state of New Mexico set aside $5 million to send additional stimulus checks at the state level. This will be a one-time payment and will prioritize households with the lowest income before a limited number of applicants are accepted based on funding availability. So this stimulus check you actually have to apply for in New Mexico. So go to your government's website on New Mexico and apply for that stimulus check if you live in New Mexico. It doesn't say exactly how big the stimulus check will be, but experts think it's going to be around a $1,000 stimulus check. Now, as far as New York stimulus, there is no more stimulus checks as of yet coming at the state level in New York. Now for North Carolina, the same as well. No stimulus checks currently. It looks like North Dakota is going to be spending money on improving schools, but no words on actually doing more stimulus programs or stimulus checks in North Dakota. Now Ohio is expected to do grants for students between $250 and $3,000 for students who are low income. So this would essentially be a stimulus check for students in Ohio, either being $250 all the way up to $3,000 based on your need. So if you're from Ohio, they will be having stimulus checks for students. Oklahoma is currently working on doing stimulus checks for teachers. So another stimulus check round coming for teachers in Oklahoma. Now, Oregon currently has no plans of doing more stimulus. Pennsylvania is not doing any stimulus at the moment either. Then we have Rhode Island. Rhode Island is actually pushing for a $1,400 stimulus check for everybody on Social Security benefits. Workers in Rhode Island are hoping that Congress can deliver legislation that would provide a 4th stimulus check of $1,400 to Social Security recipients. Now, that is something that is currently in the works, but still has not been fully approved. Now, South Carolina is among the slowest states in terms of economic recovery from the pandemic, but yet they still have not approved any stimulus at the state level. South Dakota stimulus. Now, South Dakota is one of the worst states when it comes to stimulus, and I'm really sorry if you're from South Dakota. I mean, they are the only state that actually refused to give people the $300 per week unemployment boost. Remember, that was kind of controversial when like every state was kind of doing their own thing, and that every state was like paying at a different date, and then some states were questioning whether or not they were even going to do it. Well, South Dakota was the only state that actually didn't do it at all. They did not do the $300 unemployment stimulus at all after that last stimulus package. So it doesn't look like stimulus is likely in South Dakota. Now, Tennessee is doing a $1,000 stimulus check for teachers, and they're labeling it as hazard pay. Part-time teachers will be getting $500. So stimulus coming for teachers in Tennessee. Texas. So as far as stimulus at the state level in Texas, there is no statewide stimulus coming, but a lot of counties are doing stimulus at the county level in Texas. So contact your local county governments, and there's a chance that they could be doing some stimulus at the county level. Now, Utah is not doing any more additional stimulus checks at the moment either. Vermont is not really doing a stimulus program right now, but they do have a kind of unique situation where they're trying to encourage people to move to Vermont. And if you do, they can give you up to $7,500 just to incentivize you to move to their states. It looks like we don't have any stimulus at the state level in Virginia, and there's actually over 7,000 people who never claimed their stimulus checks from before. So if you're from Virginia, make sure you claim your stimulus checks if you have not done so yet. So Washington is not doing any more stimulus at the state level either. West Virginia has no plans for more stimulus either. Wisconsin has no stimulus at the state level either. Wyoming actually has no plans for any more stimulus at the state level either. They actually ended the unemployment boost early as well. So that is it, guys, for stimulus at the state level. So it looks like for now we have a lot of stimulus at the state level coming for teachers. We have a lot of stimulus at the state level coming for those who are unemployed, and even stimulus coming for those who are unemployed to encourage them to actually go back to work and get a job. Now, one thing that's been left out is stimulus for seniors, right? Now, although we have Democrats pushing for a $1,400 stimulus check for seniors at the national level, it's really sad to see that not a single state did stimulus at the state level for those who are seniors or for those who are disabled. I mean, think about it. Our seniors have been affected the most throughout this pandemic, and those who are disabled, I mean, they don't get enough funding to begin with. So why aren't states doing state-level stimulus for seniors and state-level stimulus for those who are disabled? I mean, these are the people that we should be taking the most care of. Those who are on Social Security have paid taxes their entire lives and paid into the system, and because of inflation and small COLA adjustments, they are forced to live in poverty, which is completely unfair, and let me know in the comments if you agree. Then we have those who are disabled, those who are on SSI and SSDI. Why can't we take care of our people who are disabled and allow them to try and live a life of dignity, at least as dignified as possible, guys? And I mean, this is something that President Biden promised to do. He promised to increase SSI and SSDI. He promised to increase Social Security benefits. So this is something that we do still expect to happen. It's just frustrating that it's taking so long. Now, with Democrats currently working on the next two stimulus packages, the physical stimulus plan and the American Family Stimulus Plan, we expect some stimulus to come in the next couple of months. Then we have the fact that Biden announced that there will be another stimulus package in 2022. So there are a lot more opportunities for stimulus for seniors and a lot more opportunities for stimulus for those who are disabled to come. But it is frustrating that it's taking so long. But with that said, we should have a lot of updates in the next couple of weeks. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep you posted on the next two stimulus packages, Social Security changes, and daily news updates as well. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, take care and have a great day.